In the late afternoon of June 5, 2001, a small town was rocked to its core as the sun cast its warm glow across the streets of Maplewood, New Jersey. It was a day like any other until the unthinkable happened. 14-year-old Emily Carter vanished without a trace, leaving behind a family shattered by grief and a community plunged into turmoil. As the hours turned to days and the days to years, hope began to dwindle. Emily's face became a haunting image, plastered on flyers and billboards as her family held on to the belief that one day they would find her. But as each year passed, the reality of her absence became a bitter pill to swallow, a cold case that seemed destined to remain unsolved. Fast forward to 2023, a seemingly ordinary day when a video began circulating on social media. In it, a young woman danced carefree, her laughter echoing through the comments section. Among those scrolling through the endless stream of content was Sarah Carter, Emily's younger sister. In an instant, everything changed. The moment she saw the video, a chill ran down her spine. The girl in the video bore an uncanny resemblance to Emily. Her heart raced. Could it really be her sister, alive after all these years? Or was it just a fleeting illusion, a trick of the mind fueled by years of hope and despair? Sarah was not one to simply accept uncertainty. She was determined, driven by the memory of her sister and the promise she made to her family to never give up. In the face of overwhelming skepticism from law enforcement, who had long since labeled the case a cold file, Sarah dove headfirst into a world of digital footprints and social media trails. She began to sift through the video, analyzing every frame, every detail, hoping to uncover the truth behind that seemingly innocent moment. As the investigation unfolded, Sarah soon realized that the truth behind Emily's disappearance was far more intricate than she had ever imagined. What began as a simple quest to find her sister morphed into a journey through a labyrinth of secrets, lies, and hidden lives. The deeper she dug, the more she uncovered a web of connections that pointed towards a reality no one could have anticipated. While Sarah pursued this lead, the memories of her childhood flooded back. She recalled the playful laughter shared during summer vacations, the whispered secrets exchanged in the dead of night, and the unbreakable bond of sisterhood that had been so cruelly shattered. Her family had suffered for 2 decades, haunted by unanswered questions and the specter of what might have been. But now there was a glimmer of hope, a chance that Emily might still be out there, waiting to be found. As Sarah began to piece together the clues, she faced not only the indifference of the authorities, but also the skepticism of those around her. Friends and family, although supportive, had begun to accept the painful reality of Emily's disappearance. They worried that Sarah's renewed hope would only lead to further heartache. Yet the fire within her burned brighter than ever. She was determined to uncover the truth, no matter where it led. Could it be that Emily had a hidden life, one that had eluded the gaze of those who loved her? The possibilities were unsettling. What if she had been living under a different identity all these years? Or worse, what if she had fallen victim to something far more sinister? As Sarah navigated through the shadows of Emily's past, she began to realize that the truth could be far darker than she had ever anticipated. In the days and weeks that followed, Sarah became a relentless investigator, her world revolving around the digital landscape that had birthed the shocking video. She reached out to the creator of the reel, hoping to glean any information that could lead her closer to her sister. Each message sent was imbued with the weight of desperation, the hope of finding a long-lost loved one igniting a fierce determination within her. She found herself combing through social media accounts, tracking locations, and piecing together fragments of conversations that might lead her closer to the truth. Yet, with each new lead, the question loomed larger. What happened to Emily Carter? Why had she disappeared in broad daylight, and why had no one seen or heard from her since? As Sarah examined the threads of her sister's life, she unearthed a chilling reality. Emily was not the only girl to vanish under mysterious circumstances. There were others, too. A pattern began to emerge, one that pointed to a more complex story than a simple disappearance. As the pieces fell into place, the chilling realization settled in. It seemed as if Emily had vanished into a world that thrived on darkness, a world where innocence could be exploited and lives could be upended in an instant. Sarah's heart sank as she grasped the implications. This was not merely a search for her sister. It was a dive into a murky abyss where the innocent were often victimized and the truth was shielded by shadows. With her resolve unyielding, Sarah stood on the precipice of discovery. The video that sparked this renewed hope was not merely a digital artifact, it was a beacon guiding her toward answers that had been buried for far too long. She knew that to find Emily, she would have to confront not only the mystery of her disappearance, but also the dark forces that conspired to keep the truth hidden. The journey ahead would be fraught with obstacles, but Sarah was prepared to face whatever lay in wait. For the sake of her sister, for the sake of her family, and for all those who had suffered similar fates, she would not stop until the truth was revealed. And so began the next chapter in a story that had begun 22 years ago, a story that was about to unfold in ways no one could have foreseen. With a sense of urgency, Sarah dove into the digital world that had become her lifeline. Each frame of the video was examined meticulously, each fleeting moment replayed with an intensity fueled by years of unanswered questions. The girl in the video, with her familiar smile and unmistakable eyes, seemed to be a ghost from Sarah's past, haunting her thoughts and pushing her deeper into the investigation. Sarah quickly reached out to the original poster of the video, a social media user named Alex, who had captured the footage during a casual outing. When she finally connected with Alex, she could sense a mixture of curiosity and disbelief in their voice. "I didn't think much of it at the time," Alex confessed. "I just thought she looked familiar. I had no idea it could be someone missing." Despite the skepticism surrounding her claims, Sarah pressed on. She asked Alex to send her the original file, hoping the metadata would yield vital information. As the digital file transferred, the weight of anticipation hung heavy in the air. This could be the breakthrough she needed. After receiving the video, Sarah enlisted the help of a tech-savvy friend, Mark, who specialized in digital forensics. Together, they combed through the video's data, searching for anything that could provide context, a location, a timestamp, or perhaps even clues hidden within the shadows. Days turned into nights as they worked tirelessly. Just when Sarah began to feel the exhaustion creep in, Mark's voice broke through the haze. "Look at this," he said, pointing to a small detail in the video. "There's a reflection in the window behind her. It looks like someone is watching." The revelation sent chills down Sarah's spine. Who was this person lurking in the background? Was it a stranger or someone she knew? As they enhanced the image, the figure became slightly more discernible, a face that bore an unsettling familiarity. It was someone connected to Emily's past, someone Sarah had never suspected could be involved. With the evidence in hand, Sarah turned her focus to this new lead. She reached out to investigators, hoping to share her findings, but was met with resistance. The case had gone cold, and authorities were reluctant to reopen what they deemed a lost cause. Yet Sarah's determination only grew stronger. She knew she couldn't let the skeptics deter her. The truth was within reach. As she delved deeper, Sarah began to piece together a narrative that intertwined with her family's history, one marked by secrets and betrayals. Conversations with old acquaintances revealed whispers of a hidden life, where Emily's disappearance was only a part of a much larger, sinister story. The more Sarah uncovered, the more she realized she was not just chasing her sister's ghost. She was following a dark trail that could lead her into danger. Each new piece of information brought with it a wave of anxiety as she faced the chilling possibility that some truths were better left buried. Despite the fear, Sarah pressed on, spurred by the glimmer of hope that Emily could still be out there, hidden in plain sight. But with every turn, shadows loomed larger, darkening her path. As she prepared for the next step in her investigation, she knew one thing for certain. The road ahead was fraught with uncertainty, and the answers she sought might come at a terrible cost. As Sarah sifted through the fragments of her sister's life, an unsettling pattern began to emerge. The conversations with Emily's old friends painted a picture that was both familiar and hauntingly strange. They spoke of a man, a figure from Emily's past, who seemed to linger in the shadows of her life. This man was described as charming yet enigmatic, someone who could easily manipulate those around him. It was during one of these interviews that Sarah encountered a revelation that would change everything. An acquaintance mentioned a secret rendezvous, a meeting that Emily had been excited about just days before her disappearance. Intrigued, Sarah began to dig deeper into this man's background. What she found sent chills down her spine. This man, she learned, had a history of deceit, a trail of broken relationships, and even allegations of involvement in other disappearances. Sarah's heart raced as she wondered, could he be connected to Emily? With each new detail, the narrative twisted further, revealing a tangled web of lies and half-truths that painted a much darker picture than she had ever imagined. The more Sarah discovered, the more she realized that Emily's disappearance was not a random act. It was tied to something far more sinister. The hidden life that Emily had been living, one filled with secrets and hidden relationships, was not merely an escape, but a potential trap. The stakes had never been higher. As she uncovered this hidden world, Sarah was struck by a terrifying thought. What if Emily had not just vanished, but had willingly stepped into danger, entangled in something she couldn't escape? With her determination intensifying, Sarah decided to confront the man who had emerged as a person of interest. Armed with her newfound knowledge, she approached him, hoping to uncover the truth. But as she engaged him, she was met with a smooth facade, a practiced charm that only deepened her suspicions. The interview was fraught with tension, and as they spoke, Sarah sensed that he knew more than he let on. Suddenly, a chilling realization struck her. This man was not merely a bystander, he was a player in a larger game, one that involved more than just Emily's fate. As she continued to push for answers, she stumbled upon a shocking secret. Emily had been involved in a clandestine operation, a group that dealt in information and deception, and the stakes were deadly. At that moment, Sarah understood. Emily's disappearance was not just a tragic event, it was the consequence of a choice made in desperation, a choice that had drawn her into a world of danger and betrayal. With this knowledge, Sarah felt both empowered and terrified. She was closer than ever to the truth, yet the shadows that surrounded her sister's life were darker than she could have ever anticipated. As she pieced together this intricate puzzle, Sarah knew that she was now playing a dangerous game. The question lingered in her mind. Would uncovering the truth lead her to her sister, or would it plunge her deeper into a mystery that threatened to consume her as well? As Sarah delved deeper into Emily's hidden world, she discovered a series of encrypted messages on Emily's old laptop, abandoned since that fateful day. Each line she decoded unraveled more about Emily's involvement with a group known only as the Collective. This was no ordinary organization. It was shrouded in secrecy, notorious for manipulating information and leveraging power against those who crossed them. Driven by a mix of fear and determination, Sarah reached out to former members of the Collective, hoping to find someone willing to talk. She quickly learned that trust was a rare commodity in this dangerous underworld. Many were hesitant to reveal anything, fearful of repercussions, but Sarah's relentless pursuit of the truth eventually led her to a man named Jack, a former operative who had left the group under suspicious circumstances. Jack's demeanor was guarded, and as Sarah sat across from him in a dimly lit diner, she sensed the weight of his past looming over their conversation. Emily was brilliant, he finally confessed, his voice barely above a whisper. She had access to information that could have exposed the collective's darkest secrets. When she started asking questions, they made it clear she was in over her head. As she listened, Sarah felt the walls closing in around her. Jack's revelations painted a picture of a sister whose courage had led her into a perilous situation, one that could have cost her life. But the most chilling part of Jack's story was yet to come. He revealed that Emily had planned to leak critical information about a high-profile member of the collective, someone connected to powerful figures in the community. Feeling the urgency of time slipping away, Sarah pressed Jack for more details. Who was this powerful figure, and what happened to Emily after she disappeared? Jack hesitated, his eyes darting around the room as if he feared being overheard. "You need to be careful, Sarah," he warned. "There are people who don't want this information out. If they think you're close to the truth, they'll come after you too." The weight of Jack's warning hung heavily in the air. Sarah knew she was onto something, but with each revelation came a deeper sense of dread. Could Emily still be alive, hidden away by those who once called her a colleague? Or had her pursuit of truth sealed her fate? Determined not to back down, Sarah arranged to meet Jack again, hoping to gather more information. But as the day approached, an unsettling feeling settled in her stomach. She couldn't shake the thought that someone was watching her every move. On the day of their meeting, Sarah arrived early, scanning the cafe for any sign of Jack. The minutes ticked by, and just as anxiety began to creep in, her phone buzzed with a message that sent chills down her spine. "You need to stop searching for her." The message was anonymous, but the intent was clear. Sarah felt her heart race as she realized the extent of the danger she now faced. She couldn't turn back now. She was standing on the precipice of something much larger than herself, and the truth was within reach. As she prepared to leave the cafe, a figure caught her eye, a man sitting alone in the corner, watching her intently. He was familiar, yet she couldn't place him. A feeling of dread washed over her as she recognized the possibility that he might be connected to the collective, a reminder that shadows often held more than just darkness. With the weight of the unknown pressing heavily on her shoulders, Sarah steeled herself for the next step. She was closer than ever to uncovering Emily's truth, but with every piece of the puzzle she found, the danger escalated, and she knew that the confrontation looming ahead could change everything. As Sarah pieced together the threads of her investigation, the shadows that loomed over her began to take form. The man from the cafe turned out to be an informant, a reluctant whistleblower who had witnessed the darker dealings of the collective. With his help, Sarah confronted those responsible for Emily's disappearance, revealing a web of deceit that stretched far beyond anything she had imagined. In a tense meeting at a secluded warehouse, Sarah faced the leaders of the collective. The atmosphere crackled with tension as she laid bare the evidence she had gathered. A digital trail, a series of documents, and testimonies that painted a harrowing picture of Emily's fate. The culprits squirmed under the weight of their exposed lies, their once impenetrable facade crumbling as truth emerged. It was revealed that Emily had stumbled upon their illicit activities, a hidden world of trafficking and exploitation. In a desperate attempt to silence her, they had orchestrated her disappearance, believing they could bury the truth forever. But Sarah's relentless pursuit had shone a light into the darkest corners, forcing accountability where there was none. As law enforcement finally took action, arresting the key figures involved, Sarah felt a mixture of relief and sorrow. Justice had been served, yet the scars of loss remained. She had uncovered the truth, but it had come at a heavy cost. In the end, Emily's legacy became one of courage, a testament to the power of perseverance in the face of despair. Standing at Emily's grave, Sarah reflected on the journey that had led her here. The pain of loss was palpable, yet within it lay a profound sense of closure. She had fought not just for justice, but for the memory of her sister. The haunting reminder that the truth, no matter how painful, could illuminate even the darkest of paths, was a lesson that would linger long after the investigation ended. In a world where shadows often conceal the worst of human nature, Sarah's story serves as a powerful reminder. The fight for justice is never truly over, and sometimes the only way to find peace is to confront the darkness head-on. As she looked up at the sky, Sarah whispered a promise to Emily, "You will never be forgotten." And with that, she walked away, knowing that while the past may be fraught with sorrow, the future could still hold hope. What other secrets lie waiting in the shadows, and who else will rise to confront them?